So in the last video I said that we would be moving on to how to actually graph the equation of a line and turn the equation into a graph. But before we do that, there's a couple more things you should know related to the fundamental formula of a linear graph. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals slope times x plus b. So what we're going to be doing here is how to actually calculate the equation of a line when you don't have a graph, when you're just given coordinate points. So let's say I have a line that passes through the point 3, 4, and it has a slope of 2. So how do I calculate its equation? Well, remember, for the equation of a line you need the slope and the y-intercept. We already have the slope, so we just need the y-intercept. And to find that, we can substitute what we already know into this equation. So we have y of 4 equals the slope of 2 times x value of 3 plus b. And we do the multiplication here. 4 equals 6 plus b. So b will be negative 2. And so now we have y equals m x plus, actually it'll be minus 2. 2x minus 2. So again, the reason we just leave x and y as they are here is because we're writing a general equation that will be true for any point on this line. We're saying that if we substitute the x and y coordinate values of any point on the line, this equation will be true. Okay, let's do another one. If I have a point at negative 4, negative 1, and a slope of negative 1/2. Let's calculate the y-intercept. Y equals m times x plus b. So negative 1/2 times negative 4 is 2. And b will be negative 3. So this is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 3. Okay, now let's change it up a bit. Let me give you a point here, and then I'll give you the y-intercept, but not the slope. So what are we going to be finding here? Well, we're going to be finding what we're missing, which is the slope. So we have y equals m, that's what we're finding, times x plus b, so minus 6. So this will be 3 equals negative 2m minus 6. Negative 2m will equal, let's see, we move the negative 6 over here, it becomes positive. So 3 plus 6 is 9. M will equal negative 9 over 2. So now the equation will be y equals negative 9 over 2x, and b is negative 6, so minus 6. Okay. Now let's do another thing different. We're going to do a line passes through 4, 9 over 2, and it also passes through 0, negative 3 over 2. So now we just have 2 points, and I'm not giving you the slope or the y-intercept. So how do we do this? Well, let's think about this. Look at this point over here. If x is 0, what does that mean? It means that this point is on the y-axis. And what do we know about a point on the y-axis? The point on the y-axis is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the y coordinate of that point. So we actually do know the y-intercept here. The y-intercept is negative 3 over 2. So now that we know that, we can set up our equation. Let's use this point right here. Y equals, so once again, m is what we don't know. M times x minus 3 over 2. Solve for this, we'll get 9 over 2 equals 4m minus 3 over 2. 4m will equal 9 over 2 plus 3 over 2, that's 12 over 2, which is 6. So m will be 6 over 4 is 3 over 2. And now we can write our equation. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2. Okay, let's stick with the giving you 2 points thing. But this time, neither of these is the y-intercept. So here's the way we can do this. For this one, the first thing we want to calculate is slope. So how do we find slope? Well, let's remember what slope is. Slope is just the change in y over a change in x, going from any point on the line to another point on the line. So let's look at what it is here. What is the change in y? Let's say we're going from this point to that point. What is the change in y? The change in y is going from 3 to 7. So that's a positive 4 change over the change in x. Change in x is going from x equals 2 to x equals 5. So that's a positive 3 change in x. So there's your slope, 4 over 3. Now, just put that back into the equation, and we can use either of these 2 points. Or actually, we could use any point on the line, but these are just the 2 that we already know. So let's just use this point here. The y coordinate is 3 equals m 4 over 3 times x of 2 plus b. So this will be 3 equals 8 over 3 plus b. And b will equal 3 minus 8 over 3. That's 9 over 3 minus 8 over 3, which is 1 over 3. So the equation is y equals 4/3 x plus 1/3. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing, but let's throw in some negative numbers. Now with negative numbers, you could do the same thing, change in y over change in x, but it can get a little more complicated, and it's easier to mix up your negatives because you can have negative changes in x or y. So here's what I would recommend doing. There is an expanded formula for slope, and it is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you think about this, it's really just the same thing. y2 minus y1 is the change in y, because what we were saying here before was to get from the first y to the second y. That's the same thing as saying what's the second y minus the first y. We're just finding the difference of the 2 points. Same thing for x. Saying what's the change going from the first x to the second x is the same thing as saying what's the difference of x2 minus x1. So this is just another way of writing it. But it can be easier because now we're just substituting numbers in. So here we have y2 of negative 3 minus y1 of 1. x2 is negative 7 minus x1 of 3. So this whole thing is negative 4 over negative 10, which is 2/5. So that's our slope. Now, again, we can use either of these 2 points to find the y-intercept. Let's just use this one. It's a little bit easier with all positive numbers. So y of 1 equals m times x plus b. So b will be 1 minus 6 over 5, which is negative 1/5. Y equals 2/5 x minus 1/5. Okay. This is going to be our last one. Let's make all the numbers negative. So, first thing we do is find slope. y2 minus y1 is negative 9. Make sure you get all your negative signs right. Over x2, negative 14, minus negative 4. So negative 12 minus negative 9 is going to be negative 12 plus 9, which is negative 3. Negative 14 minus negative 4 is negative 14 plus 4, which is negative 10. So the slope is 3 over 10. And now, let's just use the second point this time. Y equals m times x plus b. So it's going to be negative 12 equals 3/10 times negative 14. That's going to be negative 42 over 10, which is negative 21 over 5. Plus b. So we have a fraction here. Let's get rid of this fraction by multiplying the whole equation by 5. So we'll get negative 60 equals negative 21 plus 5b. 5b will be, let's move the negative 21 over. Negative 60 plus 21 is negative 39. b will be negative 39 over 5. So the whole thing is y equals 3/10 x minus 39 over 5. That was a long one. But good practice, because you will be dealing with negative coordinate points when you're calculating slopes. It's important to know how to use this formula right here. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. And hopefully now you have a strong understanding of y equals mx plus b and how it works and how to use it. So we're going to just do one more video using this formula, and then we will get to graphing.